Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Science is now teaching us that all life is interconnected and interdependent. And ancient wisdom and spirituality has been teaching us this for eons, that we are all one. We are all connected. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing to another aspect of yourself. And when mankind awakens to the universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's show topic is The Council with Tammy Dodd. And Tammy, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
Absolutely. Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. That's an easy one. My listeners know that I'm not good with names, but Tammy I'm good with. So Tammy, you and I, we met through a mutual friend a few months ago. And
Absolutely.
And I know a little bit about you, but please share with our listeners your journey, your path to enlightenment and awakening.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And I would say a lot of people ask me kind of how I've come to this place. And it's quite interesting because I grew up in a very small town with no religious or spiritual influence at all. It was very much what you see is what you would believe in. And when I was 19, I felt an urge to meditate just out of the blue. And there was no new age or spiritual shop or anything like that. But there was just something about meditation, just this desire. And so I basically, I went out and I went to some bookstores and looked at some stuff. And I found some meditation books and tried to read them, and it was just it wasn't clicking. It just wasn't clicking. So I even, and I will date myself in this, I even went and bought a little cassette tape that was a metronome meditation. And it would go ding, 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 and that did not work either. So one day I finally thought, I'm going to just teach myself. I'm just going to try it on my own. And it began with just literally staring at a candle, just looking at a candle. My mind would wander and I'd be like, okay, come back to the candle. And just over time, that began and developed into my practice of meditation. And actually just that simple staring at one thing is actually now how I teach my students. Okay. So my meditation practice was for many, many years. It was 17 in total. And it naturally evolved through different layers of meditation, from just being able to focus your mind to being aware of your physical body state. And then eventually I got into the energetic states.
Right.
And actually a cute little story. So my meditations would always come to this one kind of place, this astral kind of space. And just kind of sit there. And I'd wonder, well, what is this? What's happening? And one day, a little old, sweet, adorable little yogi man kind of appeared in this space. Now, because I've always been self-taught, I was like, who is that? I was really kind of confused.
Right.
But I asked, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm new to all of this. Who are you? And they said, oh, we're one of your spirit guides. And I said, okay, well, so what does that mean? What do I do? And they're like, oh, nothing. You don't have to do anything. We'll just sit and chat if you wish. And so that, Caroline, literally started me having amazing nightly conversations with a whole host and team of spirit guides and angels that would come and sit with me. So by this point, I was getting into my mid-20s, and a friend said, oh, you should do readings. And I was like, ugh. Because, I wasn't sure about anything like that. But I thought, you know what, with the safety of my friends, we always want to practice with our friends first.
Yes.
I'll try. And I nailed it. I did really well.
Wow.
So I realized, okay, this intuition thing, I'm feeling and I'm sensing information, and I'll just share it. So that actually kicked off many, many years. I even, for many years, traveled across Western Canada doing intuitive readings and doing some of the small little psychic fairs and even some of the bigger expos. but always still doing that nightly meditation. And it was just more a matter of just me wanting to kind of connect with me and my higher self and feel that love and support of all my spirit guides.
Yes.
And then eventually it actually evolved. I was doing a reading and I'll never forget, because I always tell people absolutely that your greatest teacher will always be your experience. Just being open and allowing just your experience to happen. And I was doing a reading for someone, and out of the blue, we were kind of just doing this intuitive reading.
Yes.
And I could feel and sense and clairvoyantly kind of see in my mind's eye a man. And I could see him exactly what he looked like and how he was dressed and how he appeared. And he kept saying to me, "Tell her I'm sorry and I want her to move on." And I'm sitting there going, this has never happened before.
Right.
So
right,
I'm sitting there, we're talking about this woman's work,
right.
and there's this man in my head. Truly thought I was crazy. And that is truly a phase that I tell all my students. You'll go through a phase where you think you're losing it.
Right.
So I just, and it was amazing because he was quite persistent. So I finally said to this woman, I said, you know what? I said, I love that we're having this really great conversation about your work. I need to interject. There's this thing. I'm going to share this with you. I hope it makes sense.
Right.
I said, there's this man. This is what he looks like. This is what he's saying, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, does this make sense? And she gets a little bit teary-eyed. And she goes, oh, well, that's my ex-husband. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, your ex-husband has a message for you. And she goes, well, no, he was abusive. He used to beat me, and he died 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness, because that actually was the first ever time that I consciously received a message from somebody who had passed away.
Yes.
And so that kind of opened up that whole realm of information and messages and stuff like that. So that kind of, I would say, kind of kickstarted my work as a medium. So I always tell people that when you are getting information, when you are feeling information from a person, you're using your intuition, you're feeling that, and you're decoding that energy into the words.
Okay.
When you are getting information from an angel, a spirit guide, someone who's passed away, that's technically indirect channeling. So you're getting the message and you're passing it along. So whenever someone says, I'm being told that, or they are saying that, they are indirectly channeling the message. They're being a medium.
Okay.
So did mediumship work for years and years, and still doing my evening meditation, still just kind of just connecting with my oneness and in that beautiful state. And then there was that amazing evening when it wasn't a matter of angels talking to me that was coming through. It was they were talking through me. And that was my first experience with the council. Okay. And when that first happened, my speech, it was a little bit choppy. There was definitely a very distinct accent. But that was the beginning of me directly channeling this group that called themselves the council. Okay. And when I began channeling, it was really interesting because you hear of channelers channeling like archangels and really great celestial beings with really cool names. And I kind of had a little bit of a insecure moment. And I was like, well, what do I call you guys? And they said, we're the council. Okay. I said, well, what's your name? And they said, sometimes angels and energies are just resonance, and names are human label things.
Yes.
And so they said, we are just beingness. They said, if you need a name, if you want a label, call us the council. Yeah. And it's been interesting because I teach channeling workshops.
Okay.
And I've had students come and go, oh, I channel the council. And I go, that's perfect. You're channeling your angelic families. Because I very much believe, and the council has said, that we all come from all of these wonderful angelic houses.
Yes.
And we are all kind of our representatives of that angelic lineage.
Yes.
And I say that's why it's so important for us to be who we are and speak our own story and speak our own truth and not worry about whether it's different or the same as anyone else's, because we are all our own individual representatives.
Yes.
And there will be those that are medically inclined, or everybody will have different specialties, but it's all perfect. So, yeah, so that's kind of a very quick synopsis of the last many years.
So when you say many years, how many years would
well,
you say?
I am now at 46. So I'm now 46, and I would say it was in my 20s, right okay. When I was 20 was when I began I always felt and sensed things, but to really begin to trust. And that wasn't at the beginning. I would say, I tell people over and over that one of the biggest challenges of really allowing your spiritualness to kind of come through you and be is trusting and knowing that you're not crazy, knowing that you're not alone, and that it really is just this beautiful divine blossoming of who you are on other realms in this now moment.
Yes. So true. And it's so, you and I had a conversation a few weeks ago, and it just, everything you say resonates so truly, that we are here, we are all aspects of the divine.
Absolutely.
So we're all here as unique aspects of the divine. So people, when we use oneness, because we know that we're all one and we're all connected, but we're uniquely all one. And then people would say, well, unique and oneness, how do they, and I would say it's not this or that, it's this and that,
Absolutely.
So yes, so true.
It is all, and it's so fascinating because I can even feel the council starting to be like, we want to speak. It's fascinating because it really is, we're all the same, we're all pieces of the same pie. Exactly. We're all pieces we may be one slice of the pie, or we might all be one pie. But it's all and one at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, it's unique in one at the same time. Like you were saying, to trust your uniqueness, to trust who you are, no matter, and you're not supposed to be like anyone else in the outer world, because you're uniquely supposed to be you, and follow and trust that uniqueness and share it with the world. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I will say with that, I can feel, it's very interesting. Before I begin to directly channel, I start to get really kind of antsy and the energy starts flowing. So if I may, would you mind
please do.
Okay. Yes. So I'm just going to close my eyes for a bit, and I'm going to allow them to come in, and then they'll probably talk your ear off for a bit.
That's okay.
I will see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Indeed. Hello, dear, blessed, dear one. We would say that we were kind of eavesdropping in on this wonderful divine conversation. And first and foremost, we want to thank you we're going to say this. We don't thank you for the work you do, for it is more a matter of just being who you are. And that in many ways ties into this discussion that you were having with our dear Akula, in the way that so many people worry about what they should do and what they should do and how they should think and how they should be and how they should live. And this worry comes from the mind. It is a mental process. And as we have said time and time again, this mental process of worrying and thinking, it is a program that you have been kind of programmed into in this lifetime. The set of parameters of what's normal and not normal and good and bad and all of this mix of parameters. And we find that humans worry with their mind. And what we would love is for them to get out of their mind and just feel and be who you are. And in that beingness of who you are, you no longer worry. You no longer think about what's right, wrong, good or bad, or this or that. You get into just this beautiful transcendence of beingness. And so we want to speak about this topic and even this word oneness. We would say that there is this beautiful quote in your vernacular of learning to love yourself so you can love others. But we would say this, and such an appropriate way to explain it is, you are one being, but in that you are the oneness of all that is. And we would say one of the biggest challenges that humans do is they'll come in the moment and they will be who they think they should be based on the context of that moment. So you'll go to work and you'll be your worker expression, or you'll go and you'll be with your family and you'll be your sibling or your spouse expression, or you will be with friends and perhaps you are the chatty one or the quiet one or the smart one. And we would say the challenge in this, dear one, is you are all so uniquely multifaceted. And yet you only show up with one piece of who you are. You only bring forward one aspect. And we want you in every moment to be all that you are. When you go to work, don't leave your spiritualness at home. Don't leave your laughter and your joy at home. Be all that you are in every moment. We would actually go so far as to say that any disconnects that you are having in your life, even so far as disconnects with food or your body or illness, are because you are not being all that you are in the moment. For know this, when you are being all that you are in that moment, just being the oneness of who you are bringing in that spiritual beingness of who you are, that higher self of who you are, that grand spiritual family lineage of who you are, but also all the sum of experiences you've been in this lifetime. And in that divine beingness, every answer is there. And every knowingness is there. And every healing and love is there. And so when you can be the oneness of all that you are, we would say that for most people in the beginning, we would say it's in a way kind of a journey of the meditation process or the spiritual awakening process. You will hit that space where you begin to really feel and recognize and integrate all that you are and all that you've done. And then the brain kicks up. Oh, I was mean to someone many years ago. I made mistakes. There was that option or that opportunity that I missed. So all of a sudden you're bringing in the oneness of all you are, and your brain is going through with its checklist. Oh, this one you made a mistake. This one you didn't do correctly. This one you were kind of mean. And so we find that you begin to expand into your oneness and feel all that it is, but then you judge. You judge yourself. You tick off your mistakes. You tick off what you should have done, you could have done. And you begin to not love yourself as much. And then you begin compartmentalizing, afraid of making a mistake. So you go to work only in your one work expression. And you go and you interact with your friends only in that one friend expression. Because you're afraid if all of you shows up, your mistakes show up. Everything shows up. So you're judging you. But we invite you, dear ones, we invite you to feel into this. Every single one of you is whole and perfect and divine. Every single one of you. There is nothing you can do ever to not be a part of oneness or God. There isn't. Every single thing you do, no matter how harsh or sad or upsetting or with your brain judging is wrong, can take you away from being what you are. It's You simply are what you are. And the beauty is this. When you allow yourself to be all you are and get to that place of divine compassion for you. Yeah, you made some mistakes. Yeah, you maybe hurt some people's feelings, made some boo-boos. Maybe you got laughed at. But you know what? You show up with all the oneness of who you are. And guess what? You're able to see all that everyone else is. So then you are looking at another and you see them. But now you do not just see that one aspect. They showed up with that one little piece. You now see the beautiful, multifaceted diamond that they are. Because you have begun to see that you are this divine, multifaceted diamond as well. So when you begin to feel and know the oneness that you are, the multifaceted, multidimensional, divine grandness that you are, all of it. Not focusing on one mistake you made 10 years ago or in a past relationship, but when you see and feel all that you are, you begin to celebrate. And you celebrate life, and you celebrate being alive, and you quit judging. You quit judging yourself. You quit judging others. You quit playing that game, that human game of one being right or wrong, of one being better or worse. You just simply radiate the grandness of oneness and all that you are. And in that, you're sending out the radiance. You're sending out the resonance. There is someone walking along. You may not even see them. They might be outside the building right now, walking along on the street. And they are stuck in one tiny little aspect. And they're upset and they're frustrated and they're sad because that little aspect made a really horrible mistake and they're sad. And you're radiating this oneness and this compassion and this love. And they walk into that energy. It's almost like a radio station. They walk into that radio wave and they tune into that station. And they just breathe, and they breathe in a resonance that suddenly is a divine invitation for them to awaken to the oneness that they are. And suddenly that one little mistake, they go, you know what? It's just one little mistake. I can let it go. Right. And so suddenly, for every single one of you, as you allow yourself the compassion and the love to be all that you are, each of you very divine and very unique, very individual, but all oneness, this unified grand oneness of expression. When you allow yourself to be that, you radiate that, and it invites others into that beautiful community of oneness where you all see that you're all different and you're all unique, but you are all one in your celebrating of who you are. Indeed.
So true.
We would say that it is in so many ways so simple. You will get different systems and beliefs and teachers and such make it so complicated. Yes. And it simply is not. It is just simply about being who you are. And we even know, even as we say these words, we can feel the energies of people going, but what about my mistakes? But what about this? And but what about that? We want you, when you have those but moments, we want you to feel, take a deep breath and feel that but is coming from your mind. When you feel your heart, your beingness, your divinity, your consciousness, whatever you want to call it, we're not stuck on labels.
Yes.
When you feel, it's perfect. It's perfect. So you can assure that brain and know this, we understand. We channel through our dear Akula, who actually, and she said a really interesting and wonderful explanation at the beginning. Every single one of you are aspects of the beautiful divine families that you come from. And so we would say Akula, you call her Tammy, we say Akula, but our Akula is simply one of our wonderful angelic family, the council, the one that took the leap to be born into physicality. So for so many of you, you will have these amazing awarenesses and knowingnesses that you feel come from outside of you, but they're coming from your divine family. They're coming from the divine angel that you are in that divine angelic expression. And you just happen to be saying it with the human mouth that you happen to now have. And so we would love for all of you to tap into the beautiful higher self beingnesses that you all are and speak from that truth. We would say we know some of the biblical systems kind of hijack this, but the whole heaven on earth thing, we would say, can you speak from the angelic beingness that you are, the oneness and the beauty and the wisdom and the love that comes from that state? When you speak from that place of love and oneness, you are bringing that heaven resonance. You are bringing that divine love resonance into this human reality, this human expression, this human life, this human planet.
Yes.
So in speaking who you are and being and trusting who you are, you simply do so much more than you think. So many of you just think, well, I'm just a human. I don't have any great degrees. I haven't written a book. But just speaking your truth from that divine place brings you into being a grand spiritual master that is truly transmuting amazing divine energy into this layer and sharing it with the people walking outside your door so that they too can awaken to their divine beingness as well. Indeed.
So true.
Indeed, we say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Indeed.
So
we can
true.
ramble.
Yeah, no. It's so beautiful what you say about oneness, because that's when I awoken to the truth of oneness. To me, it's so simple. It's so simple. All there is all there is. And we are all a part of all there is, and we cannot be ever separated. And you can call all there is God, universe, source, whatever name.
Whatever. Absolutely.
It's all that is. There's nothing else but all there is. And we are an integral part of all that is. And it's like
we would say that we would say you're even more. You truly are the beginning, the middle, and well, there is no end. You are all that is.
Yes.
As the creators, you created this beautiful, beautiful place. You created this beautiful place so that you could experience that oneness in 3D. And we would say, we have spoke of this recently. So many, we would say, and again, we honor and respect all beliefs. We know that we may bump up against some, but we simply share ours, indeed. Yeah. But we would say that we have spoke to many people that think, oh, well, this is my last lifetime. I am done being on this planet. I have learned my lessons. I am graduating. I'm never going to be here again. And we say, well, actually, you were this amazing divine angel and we would say, we observe the human physicality, the human condition. And we energetically know what it's like to walk in the rain. We energetically know what it's like to make love and hug someone close. We energetically know what it's like to eat a wonderful apple, but we don't physically know how. And so, and we are going to get into a little bit of a physics lesson here. So,
yes.
so we would say in our state, we are resonance, we are energy, we are essence, and it is instantaneous. So if we desire to manifest something in our angelic, energetic realms, we go, okay, well, we'll use the example of an apple. Okay, so we want to eat an apple. There's an energetic apple. We think, it happens so fast that we don't really experience creating and eating an apple. So, and we would say, imagine this was all of you. All of you were beingness. All of you were energy. And you were playing out all these experiences, but it was so instantaneous that you didn't get to experience. And so there was, we would say, a grand meeting of all the houses and all that is. And it was like, let's slow this down. Let's experience this in a different way. And so there was this beautiful decision and consensus to slow down energy so it became more dense and more dense. And suddenly you got physical matter. Mm-hmm. You've got the planet. You've got the world as you know it. And so then you're all just kind of sitting there looking down at the planet going, who's going to go first? Because when you take that leap, you forget.
Yes.
You forget your oneness. And we would say, know this, dear ones. Being on earth is like the grandest school for all the angels. For two reasons. First, you get to physically experience. So you want an apple, you don't just suddenly go, an apple. You got to go get an apple. You got to plant. You got to make an apple. It's a process. So you get to experience the process. But also, becoming human, choosing to be born, you know you have to forget that you are one with all that is. And that is terrifying. That is scary, because that illusion is the separation. Yes. That is the grand separation that all the different belief systems will speak of in their own way. And so we sit. There are those of us that have never been in physical form. And you look at us and you think you are such a grand angel, and yet we look at you with the grandest of compassion because you had the courage to take the leap.
Yes.
You had the courage to forget that you are not one. Mm-hmm. And so we will sit with you at night when you are crying, and we cry with you. Because we are sitting there crying, and we are sitting there with you in love, saying over and over, you are not lost. You have not left oneness. You are in an illusion of separation. Yes. And so there are so many humans that they are in that illusion of separateness, and they don't even know about the illusion of separateness, so they're kind of oblivious. They're asleep. Well, yes. The wonderful label of asleepness. Yes. But then there is this beautiful, and indeed, dear one, the divine work that you do, it is sending out this beautiful resonance, inviting people to feel it so that they can awaken to begin to remember that they are part of the oneness. Yes. They begin to remember that they are angels in these bodies. Yes. So it is so beautiful and perfect. Yes. And so when you're sitting down there having a frustrating day, yes. We kind of laugh because you took the leap, man. You jumped in there. But when you come back, and we could speak for days on the transition of returning home, but we will another day. Mm-hmm. When you come back, we are so excited because we go, okay, so we know about the energetic apples, but what did it taste like? Tasting the juices and the crunch. We are envious. And you come back you get kind of a really exciting badge because you went through it, man. You went through it.
Yes.
So we never tell you guys what to do, but we invite you to know being human is not a curse. Being human is not a punishment. It is a beautiful journey. For however long, however short you choose, it is a beautiful divine journey and gift that you give the angel that you are so that you can create and gather more wisdom. Now, we're going to say this. We know the moment we say that, we know some people are popping in going, is that my purpose? Is there a school? Is there a bunch of lessons? And we're gonna disappoint some people here. We're gonna probably upset some systems, but truly, dear ones, you as oneness, we would say, as oneness, there is no hierarchy. There is no layers that you have to achieve. There is no up or down or right or wrong. So know that in any time that there is this concept of I must or I have to or else, or this is better or worse, that is a human concept from the brain, from the programming. Your angelic beingness knows no matter what, all that is oneness. You cannot escape that. You can't. You can't forget oneness. Oneness can't forget you. You can't piss off oneness enough that they walk out the door. Nope. You're stuck with it. That's just what it is, man.
Yes.
So, the journey, there are no lessons that you have to learn. There are no things that you have to accomplish or do. But the beautiful thing is this, is the more you discover who you are as an angelic, amazing, divine being in this human life, there are things that are human expressions that are just going to fall away.
Right.
When you're happy, you don't want to be mean to people. When you're happy, you don't steal. It really is. It's not that you have to.
Right.
It's that you become to a place in your life where old elements that you may have done in past lifetimes or times before just fall away. But we would say God or oneness or beingness or source or whatever does not do the dangling carrot of do this or else. That is a human system belief. So we would invite you to let go of those if you choose.
Yes.
But do not let any teacher or system create a dangling carrot for you to think that you are not worthy or good enough. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you are perfect.
So true.
Yes.
So true. I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you, the council, because that message is so, so true. And I think about it, and almost every now moment is the understanding when you truly understand oneness. I mean, because a lot of people are talking oneness on an intellectual level, but really,
the brain.
Yes, knowing oneness on a heartfelt level and living it in every now moment, because it's a process of this now moment, understanding you're not separate from anyone and everyone is divinely perfect just as they are. Just a few days ago, I made the decision to become vegan. I watching a film. The film was What the Health on Netflix. And last night I watched another documentary called Food Choices. And 2 nights ago, I decided to become vegan. Now, I'm like, this is so new. I'm a vegan version. There, I fasted yesterday, so my first day of veganism yesterday was a fast, and today I'm just gonna have a salad. But I was all day yesterday. I'm searching on YouTube for how do you cook vegan? How do what's the whole this thing? And every video, a lot of videos I came across would say, well, are you becoming vegan for your health or ethnical reasons? And for me, that whole term of ethnical reasons doesn't even come into a play, because everything, there is no right or wrong. There's no, there's no good or bad. There's no evil. There's no villain. There's no victim, no villain. That's what I was trying to say. They're all one. So the people that own these slaughterhouses and the animals are one. They're not separate. And so there's no judgment of, this person is bad because they slaughter animals for food, or, there's none of that. They're all one. There's no judgment. I decided 2 nights ago, to become vegan, to be healthier, and to be slimmer. But being slimmer is also being healthier. So, but there's no judgment on how anyone else eats. And so I just, it's the...
Indeed.
Yes.
And we would love to speak. There's many layers to this, because indeed we would say that, and observe how there are those that say, well, why are you doing it? For ethical or health? And again, when we first began our conversation, we spoke about quit compartmentalizing and just allow yourself to just go, well, right now, this is what I choose with all that I am. Why do you have to pick one or the other? Just simply say, for who I am now, this is what feels right. Exactly. And in that, we would say that, again, allowing all that you are, the oneness, to be in the moment, and simply say, what do I choose? And we will say this, and we're just going to jump in because we know that this can be a hot topic, but we would say this. Indeed, we do find that many who are on their spiritual journey will find that at some point they will find a resonance with a vegetarian and vegan diet. There is, and we are going to say that from our perspective, and we're going to get into this, so there's going to be some doubling back, but we would say from our perspective, it is not from a judgment of not wanting to hurt or harm animals, or it's not even a matter of the animal ingredients being harsh on the body. We would say it's more a matter of when you are eating the plants, it is kind of closer to the living vibration and frequency. Yes. And so taking in the more alive frequency is more of a closer resonance than eating something that is separate. So we would say it's not, from our perspective, it's not an ethical judgment, that the council is not going to get into playing that game. It is just simply that. But we will say this, feel into this, and we respect that there may be those that disagree, but for the times that there are beings, and we're just even going to take out whether it's human or animal, but there are times when beings know that they are in service to one another. And so there are beings that we will label as animals that, and we would say this, remember how we were speaking, how when the human takes the leap, they forget that they are oneness. One thing that is beautiful is animals do not. Animals do not think that, they always know. They literally are walking around as full consciousness, aware of oneness. So in that, their service of wanting to work with those that choose to work with them in that way of shifting their expressive state into a food product, to them, there's no judgment. Now we do honor that there are some ways that the transition could be a lot more humane, indeed, but there is actually in many ways an energetic, it truly is, and we know we are taking this from a very, very high level, but remember, dear ones, it's all energy. It truly is all energy, different states of energy. So we do not have that judgmental concept of right or wrong or good or bad or vegan or not. But we do definitely observe that those on their journey will just literally just almost wake up one day and it just feels like the appropriate time, and to honor and respect that, and not worry about the why or the how or the if, because you will find that because it is just simply that you have stepped into that kind of frequency chapter, that awareness chapter, that it is time for you. That is when it flows, and you suddenly find all the resources and the people, and that is how the synchronicity, and we might as well get into the creation topic. Yes. That is how the synchronicity of everything works. When you are truly desiring something from all that you are, the universe, as in service to you, responds and begins to create all these synchronistic moments of bringing you the opportunities and the moments and the people and the resources and all these little tidbits that suddenly just naturally show up. Yes. And that shows up because you chose that you desire, and you realize that you desire that from all that you are. So again, just like we said at the beginning, if you just show up with one piece of you, and we're going to say, we know everybody wants to talk about abundance. When you talk about abundance from just your brain, and your brain just says, I want money, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But if you come as the grand beingness of all that you are, and you step forward and you say with passion, and you say with the beingness of who you are, I choose to attract into my life abundance, to be able to express and experience all that I am. Yes. The universe shows up. Yes. And so again, in all of these areas, just allow, and we know this, we would say when we began channeling with our dear Akula, we admit that the first year or so was a bit rough, because us in our beingness and oneness, we did not have a lot of exposure and understanding to how heavy human life and human expression is. And so we had our times where Akula would sit there and whine and complain about this or that, and we'd be sitting there going, dear one, what is with these questions? Just manifest it, make it happen. And then over time we began to realize that separation, that forgetting, that separation, forgetting that you are oneness, can be very, very thick. Yes. And so at times you lose track. You become really, and we say this with love and compassion, but you become that little human robot. Mm-hmm. You forget. So you're walking around just like your little human. You completely forgot the beingness of who you are. So do not get harsh on yourself when you have those oops moments and kind of forget most of you at the back of the bus and that one little brain part's driving the bus. Right. Just remind yourself to all kind of invite all of you to be present in that moment. Yes. And you'll find that things will go much smoother. Yes. Indeed.
So true. And it's all, for me, it's all about the now moment. It's just, that's all there is this now moment. And so I say to people all the time, I remind myself in every now moment, it's just about the now, and to breathe. And whatever is happening for my highest good. I created it, and it's happening for my highest good. Whether my human brain understands the why of it, I know it's happened. I'm creating it, and it's happening for my highest good. So I'm going to be in this now moment. I'm going to be with it, and I'm going to be thankful for it, because every now moment is a blessing. And we would say this, and you humans have done it well. Think of it this way: the now moment is also called the present. Yes, a present, a gift. Yes. The gift. So allowing yourselves the now present. Indeed. Yes. There's a title. There's a book title like that. And it can't. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend, actually, I think I have the book. My girlfriend gave it to me years ago. But it's the present is the now. Yes. Indeed. Absolutely. Yes. So, dear one, we would say it has been wonderful to sit
and to chat with you. And indeed, we know that we will indeed come and visit again and energetically check in with you and all of your wonderful listeners. And it is this beautiful space, you know that you are all oneness, but it is so beautiful to create this sacred, safe space where people know that they can talk about it and they can share their journeys and know that it is safe, that they can be who they are and not be judged, because there's too much judgment. Indeed. So thank you, dear one. We will speak again. Indeed.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome.
Hey.
Awesome. Beautiful. Now, Tammy, I know channelers are channeled differently. Like with you, are you aware of what's going on? Are you like sitting in the back seat listening?
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little spinny, so okay. So for me, what I find, I'm a conscious channel, and so I'm going to be a little bit discombobulated for a bit. When I channel, it is, I'm kind of off to the side a little bit, and I'm almost it's almost as if I'm sitting right beside you, watching as they talk. But it's really interesting. It's this very fascinating, multi-dimensional experience, because a lot of times as they're speaking, I will see in my mind's eye pictures and visions of what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And then there are times when they get really excited, it is literally like a freight train. And I can't even really keep up with it. So I just kind of sit back and just let it, because it's so much. But I'll share a really funny story that happened right near the beginning when I first began channeling. And when I first started channeling, I channeled with my eyes closed because it helped me kind of stay in that channeling state to not get distracted by my brain physically seeing things. And I was doing channeled sessions out of my house, and people would come and sit, and I would sit and channel for them. And in the beginning, I would purposely kind of sit really still. And as you can see now, the council gets very animated.
Yes.
And probably by the end of the first year of channeling, they started to move my hands a little bit and stuff like that. And I was always so self-conscious, thinking, oh my God, I look crazy. And there was this one beautiful time, and it was the first time they had done this, and so picture this, I'm in a session with someone who is a paying client.
Yes.
And the council's talking to them, and they're going like this, and the council snapped my fingers. And it was the very first time that they had ever done that. So to the client, the council's like, oh, blah, 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 and you should do this, and blah, 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 blah. And so the council's like, okay. And so the council keeps talking. But on my side, it was hilarious, because they went, wow! Did you see that? Wow! And so they started clicking they thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread, because again, they've never been embodied.
Right.
So when they did that, they were like, oh my God, that's cool. And so I literally was like, okay, people, come on. We have somebody here, So it's really fascinating, because, and especially sometimes, and I have been channeling them now close to 10 years, and I teach channeling workshops so people can do what I do. And one of the biggest challenges that I tell people is you will always have a time where you feel awkward, you feel uncomfortable, you're just really nervous about it. And I still, even after all these years, sometimes it's like, especially when they get on a roll, they can be quite opinionated. And I can feel sometimes if they're going to say something that's kind of big, I can kind of feel it coming before they say it. And they have on occasions, they can swear, they can because to them it's word, right? It's just a word. It's all perfect.
That's true. It's all perfect.
And they did a channel once that said every swear word that offends you is one word that has power over you. So they said, think of how much power you're giving away to just these letters. Like, anyways.
Yes.
But so as they'll go to say stuff, I'll have these multidimensional, I'll be like, oh God, maybe you shouldn't say that to them. That might really offend them. And they'll be like, shut up, we got this. It's all good. And because especially when clients are new and are not quite, I always worry because they will just get right in there and say stuff. And I'm like, So it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I am so thankful and I feel so blessed for this beautiful, wonderful opportunity. Well, it's really a reunion because they're like my family, but to have this great reunion. And that's why I truly desire for everyone to, if whether they want to do it professionally or not, to learn for themselves and begin trusting what they're feeling and sensing when they're getting messages and that, because it really opens up this beautiful reunion with your family and your angels, and it's all perfect. It's all perfect.
It is. It's so beautiful. I feel so. Yes, I actually myself, like you said, I want to. Actually, I'm going to a workshop with one of my medium. She's a medium channel in October. And it's going to be a weekend. She'll be here. Yes, she'll be here in the Poconos, and I'm already signed up, and I'm really, really excited to learn because, like you said, I'm not looking to learn to become a channel or a medium, but I have my son on the other side, and I know he communicates with me all the time, and I know when he's communicating with me, but I want to be able to communicate more directly with him. So
absolutely. Yes. And that's the thing that I explain to people. I tell them, I go, you get intuition from people, and with friends or loved ones or family members, you notice how you can feel when they're angry. You can feel, so the reality is you are feeling that energy. And you have learned that energy, you've decoded that energy into the word angry. So you feel that energy, you know that means anger. So all you're doing is decoding energy into words. So mediums, angels and people who have passed away, they don't speak to us in words, they speak to us in energy. So they're communicating in energy. It's the exact same skill. Feeling the energy and interpreting and decoding it into the words that is that message.
Yes.
And it's literally, like I've had people over the years, especially back in the old days, people like, oh, you've got this special ability. And it's like, nope, this is a skill, people.
Right.
This is a skill that if you choose, you can learn, and just like riding a bike, you just got to practice. Yes. But it really is, it's simply a skill. So absolutely. Yes. Yay!
Well, he has told me in my one session I had with Suzanne Gietzman that he is very proud of the show, and he is my co-host. He's with me whenever, so he's with us right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's so perfect.
Yes, it is. And it's so true what you said. It's about just being. One of the goals of this show is to let people know they can be who they are. Don't worry, be yourself, find your truth within. You don't have to agree or believe what I believe. Go within, find your own truth, live your truth, speak your truth, be who you came here to be.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things I feel like with this show. For the first time, I'm 55, and I said, I have 3 godchildren, and they spend time with me in the summer. So my oldest godchild, he's just turned 15. He's here with me, and when I was talking about being vegan, I was like, okay, it took me 55 years to become vegan. And he's like, you're 55 years old. But he's like, I thought you were in your 30s. I was like, thank you. I love it.
It's the energy.
Yes.
And do you know what? Truly, truly, because people say, Tammy, you do not look 46.
Right.
It's when you, because look at it, it is source energy.
Yes.
It is your non-renewable, or sorry, completely, absolutely, it's your energy source that rejuvenates you constantly.
Exactly.
Like it's
exactly.
perfection. So
yes. So
perfect.
It's so, and everything is like you say, it's all perfect, and everyone is exactly where they're supposed to be and perfectly divine.
And one thing that I really love that you do is you invite people to let go, not get stuck on the labels. Because all the different systems and beliefs have different labels. And so people can get so attached to the words and the labels that they forget the energy and the essence and the love behind them. And people need to not be so tight about it and to allow things to evolve that way.
Right. And with the labels, we also, everything is, it just is, and it's neutral, and it's perfect, it's divine. And when we put labels on things, we also are, with those labels comes judgment. Good, bad, right, wrong.
Exactly.
You know?
Expectations.
Yes. Please share with our listeners how to get in touch with you, how to stay in touch with you and to follow you.
My website is simply www.tammy, Tammy, tammyandthecouncil.com.
Yes. And I know you do weekend workshops, and do you have anything coming up soon?
I'm actually really excited because I am kicking off webinars where I will be teaching a lot of my channeling workshops and some of my release workshops and past life workshops in a webinar format. So that's fantastic because I have lots of clients throughout Europe and the US, and I'm up in Canada. So it's great to be able to connect with family and connect with oneness all over. So,
And how you and I met was when planning our event, our first Universal Oneness Alliance, which is an alliance that I have formed with 3 other nonprofit organizations. But in planning our event in Victoria, now how far are you from Victoria?
I am close enough to be there. Absolutely. I'm in Alberta, so I'm just one over.
Okay, all right. So in planning that event with a dear friend, she introduced me to you. But the event, let me remind the listeners, we're hosting our first event in Victoria, Canada on the 3rd of September, and we will be featuring 3 channels. We will be Brad Johnson, Tina Louise Spalding, and Joanna L. Ross, and we will be at the Gardens at HCP, which is the Holistic Center of the Pacific in Victoria, BC, Canada. So anyone interested in finding out more about that event, go to oneness.alliance.org, and they can find out all the information on that. So yes, and I hope to meet you. I hope you can make it, because I would love to meet you in person. Yes.
Well, see, and again, it's the perfect example of energetically we connect with people, but it's still not as good as a hug.
This will be my 83rd show, I think. I'm losing count. But with all my guests, I really just want to just give them a hug.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. My heart is so full.
Thank you.
Thank you, the council. I want to thank the council, and thank you, Tammy. And you and I, we have to do this again. We're going to do this again. The
council can talk your ear off.
Hey, and I'd love it, because what they're sharing with the world is such an important message. The message of oneness and how simple it is.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Much love. And we will be in touch very soon.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sweetie.